So we got some huge bombshells in this chapter of One Piece. For starters, one of the things I want to talk about is the whole idea that in this chapter it was revealed that Sanji and his siblings are basically test tube babies, experiments or whatever. I want to throw in right now crazy theory or whatever, even though it was revealed that all of them are test tube babies. I wouldn't be surprised because there was, once again, I think it was mentioned beforehand, I'm not sure, but there was a mention of Sanji's mother. And I wouldn't be surprised because even Judge, when he was talking to Sanji in this chapter, he was like, you're gonna train 100, 1,000 times more than all your brothers and sisters so that way you can be just aligned with them or whatever. I think that Sanji and maybe even Raiju are normal creations. I think they were born naturally with the mother, and that's probably why he wanted to push Sanji so that he could be a part of the whole thing, because it was like, okay, I made him with maybe this woman that Judge loved at some given point. Maybe Judge went straight up scientific and really hardcore afterwards because maybe his wife was dying and that was like the last children that he had with her or something like that. Maybe the first few brothers were made as far as like, you know, test tubes, and maybe Yonji as well, or maybe not even Yonji, because it seems as though Ichiji, the oldest brother, and Niji are the ones that really are heartless, and then Yonji, he's kind of like a dick, but he seems more like a spoiled little brat. And then in this chapter it's revealed, which kind of was hinted here and there about Raiju, that she is normal, but she knows how to play the game. She knows how to play it very well, so she pretends so that way they don't pick on her and call her a failure because she's seen how they treated Sanji. So she was kind of being, in a way, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe she's looked at as like you're being fake, you're being a fraud or whatever, but at the end of the day, she's being smart. It's like, I don't want to be treated like shit, so I'm going to play along with them, but secretly she really does care about Sanji. And I think it's interesting that none of them really noticed, like Yonji didn't really notice, hey, why does Raiju give a shit? If they are built to have this hardcore mentality of no fucks given about nothing, you know, we just got the objective in our mind and that's about it. But like Yonji seen that Raiju gave Luffy and them a pass, and then at the same time here and there she's always helping him and stuff like that. Maybe they just accounted to, hey, you know, she's doing like a womanly deed or something like that. But to be honest with you, you would think that they would catch on by now that she's just playing along with them. It was also interesting in this chapter to get mentions of Vegapunk, which I'm like, when are we gonna get to see Vegapunk? It's been foreshadowed for a long ass time, and I'm curious what the hell he looks like. And to see that Judge was actually up there working with Vegapunk, it makes sense why he would be so scientific and why German would be based on science and stuff like that, because he was up there with the best of them. Same thing with Caesar and stuff like that. So you see all these scientists that they have all these incredible creations. It makes sense when you think, oh, they were there with Vegapunk. And the way Oda is structuring this to make us just feel like Sanji is in such a fucking helpless situation. Like when he attacks Niji and then he thinks, damn, Owner Zeph's life is on the line if I do too much. So he gets his ass kicked again. I'm like, it's frustrating in a sense of like, yo, you want to see Sanji just beast on all of them and get rid of all this shit and be done with it. But then at the same time, it's like he can't do anything. So as a reader, as a viewer of this, you're like, fuck. And I think that's exactly what Oda's been trying to set up. It's like you have these cruel pieces of crap that they were basically created that way, so maybe he's trying to add that there could potentially be some sort of sympathetic feeling to them in a sense because they know no better. And then also you have Sanji just helpless to the situation as well. So it's like Oda's really building up the drama and the suspense regarding all this and how it's going to play out. Kind of curious how Sanji's mother passed away, and again, if Judge is just this hardcore scientific guy, he's heartless and stuff like that, why would he have had a wife to begin with? You know, why would Sanji have had a mother if these were all test tube babies? Maybe secretly he pretended that Sanji was like, you know, his test tube thing, but all along maybe it was his own DNA or his own semen or something along the lines of that. Although to be honest with you, I think all of them are some sort of DNA strand. But then probably with Sanji and possibly again Raiju, because Raiju also seemingly has normal humanity, they were conceived naturally. So I think it's possibly just a mixture of Judge is bitter about something, or Judge just has these ideals that he wants to push forth, but at the same time maybe once upon a time he was a decent dude and it just went down a dark path. Maybe Sanji's mother having some sort of involvement in all this, maybe her passing is what turned Judge into the asshole he is today. Because I mean, towards the end of the chapter, I'm not gonna lie, it's really pushing forth, like, not only you had the flashback back in the day about Sanji and what he went through with Owner Zeph, which by the way, fuck Niji for trying to pull some bullshit saying that, oh, I didn't know you swung that way, talking about Sanji and Owner Zeph. Like, now we have some crazy ass fangirls that are gonna do some pairings, Owner Zeph x Sanji. Thanks for that, Niji. Thank you. But then you find out everything that happened now, like finding out that Sanji was basically forced to fake his death and be locked in a fucking prison cell with a helmet. But you gotta think as well, if Judge was that heartless, if he really didn't care, he would have just killed the little bastard. He would have gone through with it. Oh no, he had a tragic death or whatever. So he does in some twisted way, I feel, even though he's a scumbag and I'm not looking for the best of him, I'm looking to see exactly what it seems to be. And I think that Judge, somewhere in his little cold black heart, there is some caring. It's just that it's clouded by a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of bitterness. But with all that being said, honestly, I can do nothing but say that this was a great chapter of One Piece, finding out yet again all the tragedy of Sanji's past, finding out that seemingly him, alongside his siblings, are all creations. And the fact that it only takes him 5 years to create a 20-year-old man with these experiments and stuff like that. Yeah, Judge, that's why he created his nation the way it is, and that's why they have all this technology. But I think there's going to be a moral to all this as well. I think that even though they called him a failure, even though they said that, you know, he was worthless and stuff like that, I think in the end, Judge is going to have to admit, if anything, you were my perfect creation, Sanji. You were the one that had the humanity intact. The rest of them are cold-hearted pieces of shit, and we'll probably get that revelation after Sanji, Luffy, and them kick his ass. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the chapter? Did you get them feels? I'm not gonna lie, just seeing little Sanji going through all the shit he went through, and then knowing that after all that shit, when he finally got away, then he had to go through the hell that he went through with Owner Zephyr. It's like, Sanji, you definitely are part of the Straw Hats, boy. You went through that shit back in the day. And your overall thoughts of the chapter? What do you think about Raiju seemingly being just like Sanji? It's just that she's a little bit smarter to cover it all up. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.